You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. Wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wednesday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday. Welcome, everybody. Michael Hassner, welcome. Moanep, BCat, Mouselander, Heat, how's it going? John Lithium, Charlie Martini, welcome. I hope everyone's doing all right. Bella, how's it going? It's going. Keep the left times rolling. Folks, I really appreciate you guys turning out to the launch of this space. That was pretty freaking awesome. And so far, it's been doing really, really well. I could not be prouder. I could not be prouder, folks, to be part of this. Hey, pretty welcome. FG. Echo Wrestle Dragon. This space is pretty dope. You did awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. The space has been awesome so far. Oh yeah, and only getting better. Only getting better. Tomorrow is going to be another power lineup, that's for sure. 502 subscribers already in this space. Nice. Nice. Your show is great. Thank you. Appreciate it. It's kind of surreal. I know there was a lot of work behind the scenes, but it all came together like a dream. It seems like it, right? It seems like it. A dream. A dream that is coming true. That's what I was watching before here. Nice. And don't worry, folks. By the way, don't worry. There's going to be content after my stream. There's going to be content on my stream. After my stream. Too bad I can't tag all the hosts because I post all these updates from work. Oh, it's all good. You're doing great. You're doing great. It's much appreciated. All right, folks, time to get started. Thank you all for being here. The usual disclosures, folks. Thank you all for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, there are many different ways of doing so. As some of the mods have been posting, please check out the merch store. Hit the exclamation mark tip if you want to support the channel directly. The Substack. Join the Discord to keep up with the channel. And I think that's it. Let's get started, folks. $4:20 on the dot in your time. Good timing, yeah. Eager, how's it going? Proud of our little YouTube community. Yep. I need an excuse to burn some time off work. I'm pretty sure that most of you have already been aware of what's been happening, but apparently we have federal agents attempting to abduct children out of elementary schools because reasons. I still need to check out the YouTube. I'm kind of getting exhausted with the news, not even in my country. Oh, I understand. I understand. Moanep, welcome. I love that emote. That's nice. It's peanut butter jelly time. Or, you know, talking about how ICE is trying to abduct children.
After an unusual and disturbing visit, several federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security showed up at 2 elementary schools this week demanding to talk to students. What happened next has Superintendent Alberto Carvalho praising school workers and demanding answers. Eyewitness News reporter Sophie Flay explains.
What
has been in a cave, missed the fascism. It's okay. The fascism is still here, I'm afraid.
interest should a Homeland Security agent have in a first grader?
On Monday, multiple Homeland Security agents showed up at 2 elementary schools in Los Angeles, according to LAUSD Superintendent Alberto Carvalho. These agents were stopped, questioned, and turned away by principals at Lillian Elementary and Russell Elementary schools, both in the Florence Graham neighborhood.
They wanted access to the students to determine their well-being, based on, according to the agents, the fact that when they entered this country, they entered as unaccompanied minors. It is well known that these students are under the care of relatives.
According to Carvalho, the agents claimed they were not part of immigration and customs enforcement.
They conveyed to both principals that the parents or the legal guardians in charge of these children had provided them authorization for access to these kids in school. That is absolutely, blatantly untrue.
These agents asked specific questions about students ranging from first...
Yeah, I mean, this sounds like child kidnapping to me. Ladybug, welcome.
...to 6th grade. The superintendent says they arrived in unmarked vehicles and wore casual clothing.
When the principals attempted to write down details about their IDs, they quickly hid their IDs.
All parents from these schools were notified.
Yeah, like if you can't properly identify yourself as a law enforcement officer, then like you have to just basically assume that you're about to be kidnapped. From a Canadian's perspective, I see Gavin being mostly right here in the course of protests. I'm ill-informed on state versus federal in the U.S. Well, I mean, like, he's right in rhetoric. Like, he's right about, saying that this is escalating stuff. I just wish that he would be a little bit more forceful as far as what he would be willing, as far as he would be willing to go. Is my question. My question is, where are the 2A folks when the government is being tyrannical? Oh, no. Those guys don't actually believe in that. It's a farce. It's about as real as their actual commitment to the actual Second Amendment. They don't care about tyrannical government. I see Gavin is getting attacked by big time from the Hogs. Oh, that's standard. Yep.
About these incidents. Ahead of the November election, LAUSD staff were trained in protocols to protect students from federal agents showing up at schools.
Yeah, good job,
we wonder
administrators.
if this may happen at more schools, if they simply will ram through. So we are having to really lean on the principals, the workers, the teachers, the clerical workers.
After an unusual...
Yep. So that's the kind of stuff we're seeing here. And that's the reason why we're seeing these massive protests. And you know what? Yeah, there should be. He's only engaging insofar as the spectacle helps him in his 2020 election chances. I mean, do you think that this guy's going to try to run? I hope not. NRA is white supremacy. True. They're bent over, taking a hard and looking weak. Yeah, but they don't care. Like, it's like the true opposition is not really manifesting itself. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear space weapon platforms shall not be infringed. True. As a Canadian gun owner, we have so many rules and regulations. I cannot even have ammunition in the same safe as my guns. I say guns plural as I just bought a new one. I think he definitely wants to. I hope he doesn't run. I really hope he doesn't run. Hey, this space. Look at that. The conglomerate. This space. In the chat. How's it going? Gavin taking a hard stance against Taco here. Definitely smells like a presidential bid. It might be. I'm just hoping not.
Celebrating big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force.
Yeah, so that's a direct threat from the president. That's cool, you know. Just casually threatening Americans trying to exercise their right to free speech. Just to be clear, like, it is well within the First Amendment to protest this president. Okay? It is well within your First Amendment right to protest. Has no 1A on my birthday. No. Great choke yesterday, and your short clip is doing well. Nice. Nice. I mean, the whole show, the whole lineup has been just a power lineup. From Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. It's just back-to-back bangers. Let me eat my cake or you'll be deported. In fact, if you go to nokings.org, if you're in the States, or there's even some being planned internationally, you can check out a protest in the state that you're in. So go check out nokings.org. It looks like this. It's almost time for a home run. Home run. Meanwhile, Eagers with the office whiskey. The worst scenarios of Dem primary is Newsom versus Pete. Oh, no, please, no. I don't want Pete Buttigieg. Like, can we just have a non-corporate, a non-corporate Democrat? Please? Send my home team home for the afternoon. Why not? True. Cheers, chat. Oh, I love Mayo, just not Mayo Pete. You know what I mean? But he's got like a beard now, so I guess, you know, why not? This is why I like Mark Carney so much. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know too much about Mark Carney. The only thing I do know is that he's like a head. He was the head guy of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England. So yeah. Bank of London. Gotcha. Bank of England. Bank of London. June 14th, folks. You can find an event. Look at this. Hold on, folks. Channels. Chat back? Oh, there you go. Okay. There's chat. Vancouver? Doesn't seem like anything's going on in Canada, but I mean... We've got... come on. This is the closest ones to the Canadian border. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, there's one here. There's plenty in Seattle. Maybe don't cross the border if you can avoid it either way. Well, yeah, things are pretty sketchy if you're not already here. Oh, actually, before we continue, this one was sent by Ladybug. Maybe a better chance not to risk it. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, okay? And even if you don't even if you don't fit the description, you know, there's been plenty of Canadians and other folks who have been stopped and detained and harassed by Border Patrol, by ICE. So I mean, it's not great. It's not good. So I appreciate the enthusiasm, and of course I would love for more people to show up to protest. But just make sure that you're safe. You know what I mean? Just make sure that you're safe. And right now, the United States is not a safe place. That happened recently when I went to Japan and when I went to LA. Yeah, I need that as a soundboard thing. Do not come.
Talking.
Right. It's lovely talking to you as always.
Oh, hello.
We were just talking about you kids.
I'm Denise Heberly.
And I'm Bill Goodman.
Together, we've been fighting fascism for over 50 years.
And so much has changed over those 50 years, such as the ingredients to a successful firebomb.
And the glass that bank windows are made of.
Changed over 50 years. Something that is so important to tell you kids who are new to this movement.
Shut the fuck up. You're sitting in the police transport van after a protest?
Shut the fuck up. In a holding cell with your comrades?
Shut the fuck up. Cop knocks on your door?
Shut the fuck up.
Texting on an unsecured device?
Shut the fuck up. Pulled over by the cops after a protest?
Shut the fuck up. Cop just asking about your day?
Shut the fuck up. Feds call your mom?
Tell your mother to shut the fuck up.
That's right.
Repeat after me. When the cops come calling, what do you do?
Shut the fuck up!
Happy protesting. What is it, Canada, huh? Bro, I'm using your airport to go to Japan. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's not worth it. It really isn't. His mom that anyway. I was watching this on stream for the protest and Lawyers Guild was out there. I fear loud noises and green hats. Yep.
Celebrating winning big on Saturday. We're going to have a lot of, and if there's any protest that wants to come out, they will be met with very big force. By the way, for those people that want to protest, they're going to be met with very big force. And I haven't even heard about a protest, but, you know, this is...
Just to be clear, like, this is not, like, exactly a secret. There's a massive protest being planned all across the country on June 14th in 3 days, okay?
People that hate our country, but they will be met with very heavy force.
That was our president threatening violence against Americans who may want to protest.
Yeah, very big force. Also, by the way, just as a just as another like a side note, the Humanist Report is also going to be joining this space. Whiskey Wednesday. Yeah, very big force. That's a threat, 100%. Very poorly informed POTUS. Remember when Trump was pissed at Fox? Yep. Was there an enormous turd on the screen just then? I mean, you know, YouTube allows it, so I guess it's okay. It's a bit of a weird, you know, it's got some orange complexion to it, but whatever. I guess it's okay.
His fascist $45 million military parade that's being thrown for his birthday on June 14th. And I'm not really sure if him repeating himself 3 times was for emphasis or due to his cognitive decline. Either way, he wants you to know that he's going to hurt you if you disrupt his birthday parade in any way, shape, or form, because your physical well-being matters less to him than his birthday celebration. But it's not just about his birthday, because now more than ever he's making it known that he won't tolerate any dissent at all from...
I'm sorry, like the fact that like this guy is such a weak and pathetic crybaby that he's literally like, okay, just to be clear, like it is incredibly like disturbing and disgusting that the president of the United States is literally threatening force for legal, protected, constitutionally protected actions like protesting. But like, just to kind of like put that aside for a second, like how pathetic and how little of a person do you have to be to react this way? That like, this is literally like just throwing a tantrum like a child, like, and I may be and I may be offending children here. I mean, like, seriously, who acts like this? To throw a tantrum and threaten to use the state to crack down on people because they are protesting you because it's your birthday? I mean, seriously, how pathetic and how weak do you have to be? He's as emotionally developed as a child. Yeah. It's a special day. I'm like, that's just so like wild to me that this is the reaction we're getting because people are planning to protest him. Koreans have created a new color for Trump. It's called Mirage.
From the peasants. And as you all know, he illegally seized control of California's National Guard and subsequently deployed U.S. Marines to Los Angeles to quell anti-ICE protests, and he hasn't ruled out invoking the Insurrection Act of 1807. Now, if he were to do this, it would be a drastic escalation, but I want you to know what that specifically means. Brandy Buchman of HuffPost explains, when the Insurrection Act is invoked, it suspends the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids the military from getting involved in local or state law enforcement. Invoking the law is rare. It has occurred just 30 times in history. Martial law and the Insurrection Act are not one and the same. The Insurrection Act is invoked typically to have the military assist civilian law enforcement. Martial law refers to when the military becomes enforcers of local and state laws. So now that you know what it is, I want to explain how the authoritarians in Trump's administration are trying to bypass federal laws to weaponize the U.S. military against U.S. citizens in more insidious ways. For example, Common Dreams reports that DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is urging Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth to direct the military to carry out arrests as other federal officers in DHS or ICE would.
Yeah, so just to be clear on that point, it seems like that's kind of already happening. So the blurring, the blurring of these lines are very, very, very disturbing. because there have been reports that there's military turning over people to law enforcement. That sounds to me like they're engaging in law enforcement activities by detaining people and giving them over to the authorities. I don't know if there's like some kind of technicality, but to me that sounds like they're engaging, because I mean, like, departments transfer people into custody all the time, right? Like, state police may transfer someone into federal custody. So what's the difference from a National Guardsman or something like that transferring custody to a local law enforcement? It's the same thing. Sounds to me like this is already happening. So Life, welcome. For your next special day, I'll take you flying. It only costs $40 million. Oof.
In other words, she wants to turn the U.S. military into a Gestapo-like force akin to ICE, but Hegseth can't do that because it violates the Posse Comitatus Act, hence why the invocation of the Insurrection Act is needed to suspend that particular law. But I think that she knows that the administration would face blowback if they invoke the Insurrection Act, so they're all trying to effectively grant the military the authority to arrest citizens without invoking the Insurrection Act so as to avoid mass hysteria. Either way, these fascists are cooking up new ways to quash dissent from an increasingly agitated public that's just fed up with their Hitlerian tactics. But unfortunately for them, their effects aren't having the effect that they hoped it would, because as NBC News reports, anti-ICE protests are turning into a nationwide resistance movement, with protests now taking place in 17 states and the District of Columbia, and by Wednesday they'll likely have spilled over into even more states and cities. And these protests come at a time when the Trump administration is cracking down more, with a plan to send 9,000 immigrants to Guantanamo Bay as soon as this week, and he's also vowing to expand large-scale ICE raids like the one in LA that catalyzed the protests.
In reaction to these large-scale ICE operations in Los Angeles, should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
As you know, we're moving murderers out of our country that were put here by Biden, or the
the murderers. You know, the murderers that you find in Home Depot, the murderers that you find at construction places, the murderers that you find in restaurants that you've been raiding, right? Alejandro Carballo has been posting some just genuinely informative content. Yeah, elementary schools, which we just went over. Yep, you know that where the murderers are. Whose side are we on here? Why wouldn't we support ICE enforcing our laws? Nope, ICE is literally like a fascist Gestapo. So no, I'm good. I'm good on supporting, so what you're saying is like we should enforce laws that are bad. I don't get it. And also, like, what does this like accomplish here? This is the murderers that we're talking about. Like, this dude literally operated a fruit stand or some kind of food stand. Yeah. Good job. Good job. Yeah, not literally at all like the SS. When the last president does as much as he could to sabotage our nation, this is what happens when he's correcting the problem. Yeah, let me correct the problem. I got this. Let me correct the problem here. I'll correct the problem. Just give me a second. I think they came to shit on Biden, that old decrepit powerless dude that we don't like. They're literally like the SS. Like, yeah, this is classic victim blaming. First of all, like, nobody's talking about Biden right now. He's no longer president. And also, like, what are you talking about sabotaging our nation? What they actually mean is they allowed this invasion to happen. Like, this is the rhetoric that these people are pushing. like gentle on my mind. In their mind, they're saying, "Oh, Biden sabotaged this country because he let this invasion happen, and this is what happens when you need to correct it." Yeah, so like this is what they're talking about. This is the correction that we're talking about. You know, raiding elementary schools, raiding food stands, raiding other workplaces like Home Depot. I mean, like, yeah, dude, go fuck yourself with this fascist apologia. Okay, like this is. There's just no space for that. Kirkin sends Monster, welcome. Yeah, Trump can do no wrong, you know. There is no invasion. Yeah, but that's the sabotaging of the country that they're talking about, for sure. So, yeah, I mean, like, if you think that any of this is okay, you are helping fascism, okay? If you don't outright support fascism, but you're okay with this, then I've got news for you. Yeah, F Biden. We have fascism right now. Like we're dealing with fascism right now that you people voted in. And by you people, I mean the Trump supporter, presumably the Trump supporter that was just here. Laws require the right to confront your accuser with legal assistance, otherwise they're dictators. Yeah, exactly. They're dictates. Nice. Good to hear, Heat. America is a country founded on immigration. True. It's a country founded on immigration, colonization. If I start snatching people up without due process, more people are going to be mad that no matter who's president. Yeah, like that's the problem, right? They're excusing this kind of stuff. Just to be clear, like if one group doesn't have due process, nobody does. That was one of my favorite parts about the U.S. habeas corpus. Guess that doesn't exist now. Correct. If it doesn't exist for, one group of people, then it doesn't exist at all. Because how are you going to make that determination, right? And slavery and genocide. Yes. Yep. According to Noam, it's Trump's right to do whatever he wants, so it exists. Yep.
The auto pen.
Actually, fuckface, you're kicking out innocent, hardworking people, including American citizens with cancer. You're the murderer. You're also a rapist and a convicted felon, unlike most of the people that you're rounding up. And I don't know why he's even pretending like he's only targeting criminals at this point, because Tom Homan just admitted that they're not doing that. Also, last week, Stephen Miller told ICE to go to Home Depots and 7-Elevens to target immigrant workers. So drop the fucking act already. We know it's bullshit. You're against all immigrants, and since the new patch for conservative NPCs went into effect recently, where they're now just coincidentally chirping about banning all, quote, third world immigration, legal or illegal.
Yeah, so like what they mean is just like any brown person, right? Any black or brown person. That's what they're talking about. Yeah, also, like, let me show you the overcorrection that this fascist apologist in chat was talking about. These are citizens, by the way, just to be clear.
Check this baby out here, this kid too, right? Yeah, we'll check the heart rate and everything. Any medical problems? No. No medical problems? Taking medication for anything?
Does that look normal? Does that look normal? Does that look normal to you in a normal democratic society? Did they shoot the car? No. They shot it with non-lethal munitions. So they shot it with tear gas, presumably, or some kind of tear gas, to detain the driver at gunpoint. I've seen this from some black and white footage from the 30s. That's cars. Yeep. Ice got that TikTok fellow cabbie lame on his way home. Why? Take a wild guess. Yeah, I was going to say he fit the description, but yeah. We should remember the quote Martin Niemöller at first they came for. Yep. Looks like a carjacking. Yep. That's literally just ice. That's literally just ice.
Hey, Cat, we can cancel EMS 11 if they want. Yeah, and we'll just get that. Yeah, just for right now. So, dear, do you guys want to go to the ER? Yeah. He's acting normal right now. They're not crying. Nothing seems affected. We're going to check his heart rate, check everything out, make sure everything's good, okay? But it's up to you guys. We have an ambulance coming, so it's up to you. And they said they took the driver.
So it looks like Brazilian cop footage. Yep. They snatch people off the streets, jack your cars. This is what thugs look like. Yep. Yeah, by the way, American citizens. So that's cool, you know. That's the kind of stuff that clown in chat was saying was okay. Anyways. Yeah, hooded gunmen. Yeah. Also, like, just to be clear, like, if you fail to identify yourself as law enforcement, then people should presume that you are about to be a victim. About to be a victim of some kind of kidnapping or worse. So I'm just saying. Dude, the World Cup soccer is gonna be starting soon and ICE is gonna be there. Yep. Sex Heals by Joni Mitchell. I pulled up behind a Cadillac. We're waiting for the light, and I took his license plate and it said just ice. Just ice, governed by greed and lust. Just the strong doing what they can, and the weak suffering they must. And the weak suffering what they must. I saw a story of some dude robbing a place dressed as ice. Yep. I saw a woman who was picking up her kids from school and get nabbed. She just wanted to make sure they were okay. Yep, and some guy tried to SA someone. They were dressed up as ice. Cosplaying. Terrible things are happening outside at any time of night and day. Poor helpless people, they're being dragged out of their homes. They're allowed to take only a knapsack with little cash on them. And even then, they're robbed of these possessions on the way. Families are torn apart. Men, women, and children are separated. Children come home to school, find that their parents have disappeared. Women return shopping to find their house sealed and their families gone. So this is that Anne Frank quote. If I just take out knapsack because that kind of gives it away, and just put backpack or maybe purse or maybe bag, this would be indistinguishable from what's happening now. And this is an Anne Frank quote. Thank you for that, Echo Wrestler Dragon. I agree, Eager. I agree. This is very cool, Bella. Is this like a poem you're making? I like it.
I think it's safe to say that you can stop pretending like you're only going after criminals. We know that that's not the case, but understand that this is one of many threats he's issued to Americans this week alone. On Monday, he threatened to put troops everywhere, and now he's saying that his Gestapo will terrorize even more cities, meaning that more men in masks will abduct people and throw them into unmarked vehicles under the guise of making America safe or some bullshit, even though ICE has objectively made Americans less safe. Let me show you what I mean.
This man was posing as a federal immigration officer when he walked into this car repair business right next door to the Philadelphia Police 15th District and Northeast detectives and robbed it Sunday afternoon. The man wearing a badge, blue latex gloves, a tactical vest saying security law enforcement agent with a black baseball hat and sunglasses on. This second surveillance photo shows him when he zip-tied the cashier, who told me she's from the Dominican Republic, a legal resident since 2007, and says every time she turned around to try to get a good look at the man's...
Does that even mean? How do you ban legal immigration as an effing oxymoron? I mean, you know, it don't matter.
Face, he strongly twisted her around, bruising her arm, telling her he was with Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
That's the story I was talking about.
ICE. He came and went in this Ford E250 commercial van. He got away with $1,000. The 50-year-old victim says she volunteered to work Sunday, filling in for another worker who was sick. Still hurting a day later from being manhandled roughly, she says, and zip-tied behind her back for a while before she could get help from co-workers. Philadelphia police say it took more than 2 hours for her to get free and notify them right next door. By then, the man took off in the van out Harbison Avenue toward Roosevelt.
I mean, like, are they gonna actually try to find this guy, or... And wasn't even supposed to be there that
Boulevard
day. Yep.
With a 2.5-hour head start on his getaway in this very brazen robbery, posing as law enforcement right next door to law enforcement offices, which is why the victim believed he was legitimate until she saw him grabbing all the cash from the drawers and taking off.
We all knew that this was bound to happen sooner or later. When federal officers wear masks and drive unmarked vehicles and violate people's civil liberties and act unhinged, you make it incredibly easy for actual criminals to rob people simply by posing as them. But thankfully, the woman in that story was safe, but it could have gone so much worse. Imagine if you're alone and there's a bunch of masked men that approach you and they tell you that you have to get in their car. I mean, these days, you'd have no idea whether they're illegal human traffickers who want to sexually abuse you or legal human traffickers like ICE who want to detain you.
Yep.
But if you suspect that they're not who they say they are, they'll accuse you of resisting arrest. But if you comply and they're not federal law enforcement, then you could be putting yourself in danger by getting in the car with...
Right, so, like, again, the only way to, like, go about this is to assume that anyone who fails to identify themselves as a law enforcement person, they are going to do you harm. It's that simple. And you must and you must understand that and take that into consideration. Anyone who fails to identify themselves as law enforcement is presumably going to do you harm. It's that simple. I'm not Hell Yang. What he did to the work. I was referencing the cosplay for robbery. Like, what do you have to expect? Yep. Yep. Protect yourselves, folks, and be alert. Mm-hmm.
Some violent criminal who wants to take advantage of you in nefarious ways. Everyone knew that this was bound to happen. It was just a matter of when this was going to happen, which is why, as the Miami Herald reports, a YouGov Economist poll finds that 2/3 of respondents think that ICE officers should be required to wear uniforms, and 47%, which is a plurality, don't think that they should be allowed to wear masks. But here's the thing. These ICE officers feel compelled to conceal their identities because what they're doing in many instances is illegal. Literally, they're getting violent and unhinged with people. They're violating due process rights and civil liberties. They're entering people's homes without warrants. These things are things that are illegal that could one day lead to their prosecution.
Right. And they know that.
Hence why they feel inclined to hide their faces, because it makes them easier to get away with the crimes that they're committing. And they're right. It will make it easier for them to get away with the crimes that they're committing, which is why we can't just commit to abolishing ICE. Every single ICE agent has to be investigated and held accountable for their potential criminality. And any Democrat who opposes the total abolition of ICE should be disqualified in 2028. And you need to make this a litmus test now, because ICE, for the most part, still has bipartisan support. And as Jonathan Cohn explains, 75 House Democrats just signed onto a Republican resolution praising ICE, including so-called resistors like Eric Swalwell and Lucy McBeth, as well as the more unhinged, genocide-supporting centrists like Wesley Bell, Shontel Brown, and Richie Torres. These Democrats are fascist collaborators expressing support for Trump's Nazi-like Gestapo force, and they should never win another election again. All of them. But I think that Democrats, they sign on to these things because they're naive and they think that it's going to make them appear reasonable when there's no reasoning with fascists. You're not going to be able to get them to bring you into the fold if you somehow make them see you as reasonable or one of them. All they care about is power and domination. That's it. And the same goes for Bernie as well, who didn't do something as egregious as them. But, you know, he took the time to condemn violent protesters who targeted property instead of violent cops who targeted human beings. He wrote on Twitter, Dr. King defeated racist government.
Yeah, we went over this yesterday.
Officials and ended segregation through disciplined, nonviolent resistance. Defeating Trumpism, oligarchy, and authoritarianism requires that same level of discipline. Violent protests are counterproductive and play right into Trump's playbook. I love you, Bernie, but with all due respect, this is fucking tone deaf. Property damage is less serious of a crime than damage to actual human beings who live and breathe.
Yep. Mike is awesome. This dude knows how to articulate things perfectly. Yep. Democrats are not going to fix this. Not these Democrats, for sure. They are cowards. That's a rare Bernie out. Yeah, this one was not it. This one was not it. We talked about this yesterday. This was not it. There was a mass shooter here in NS, Nova Scotia, back here in 2020. He posed as a cop with a car and uniform. The fact that that's being enabled and practically encouraged down there is effing terrifying. Mike has grown so much. I've been watching him for years, and he gets better and better. Yep. Also joining this space. I don't know if I said that.
Is what the cops and this administration are currently perpetrating. And if you care more about a fucking Waymo that was set on fire than, say, Nick Stern, the British journalist who had to have surgery after he was hit with a non-lethal round, then you need to recalibrate. And I'm not saying that Bernie cares more about property damage than human beings, but when he says things like this, he feeds into this narrative that we always have to condemn the people with no power and not the people with all.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is probably a more succinct way of putting it than I did, honestly, but like this is basically like the argument that I was trying to construct yesterday.
The power. And I think that this knee-jerk reaction to fixate on property damage over more serious crimes like injuries to actual people, it serves fascism, either wittingly or unwittingly, and we have to stop doing it. Inanimate objects don't feel pain. People do. Waymos don't have families to go home to. People do. And performatively condemning a few violent instigators isn't going to win you any favor. I'm not saying that I condone violence and property damage and whatnot. Obviously, I'm saying that for legal reasons here on this program, but I'm not going to whine about that when actual human beings are being harmed right now. My priorities are to protect people, not property. And on the subject of Dr. MLK Jr., his peaceful approach didn't buy him any goodwill. I say this because the overwhelming majority of racist-ass Americans disapproved of the civil rights movement during the 1960s, despite their peaceful tactics.
Yep. F drivers. Yeah, my only gripe with the whole like Waymo stuff is that like setting electric cars on fire is incredibly toxic, and it actually like it is not very good, especially for the people around, like your fellow comrades who are there breathing that toxic stuff. That's basically like my only gripe with it. Other than that, like I don't care if like I just genuinely don't care. Like Mike says, my priority it would be to protect people, and as it turns out, human lives are worth more than any car on the planet. I'm so happy I agree to be part of this. How the big leftists should do the same. Yep. The app goes crazy and traps people in spinning vehicles. Yeah, but don't hurt anybody. They have built-in fire suppression, so that was lucky. Setting electric cars on fire can turn them into small bombs as well. Yep. Lithium burns hot. I don't think water puts it out. It doesn't. It doesn't. Realize how much I cared and felt I needed to know more and participate more and do more than I can. That's all we can do. Do what we can.
including freedom rides, sit-ins, and peaceful rallies. And as Caroline Kwan put it, there is no way to protest against fascism that the fascist powers will deem acceptable.
Yep.
When protest is peaceful, they respond with violence. When protest is not peaceful, they respond with violence. So ultimately, those who are siding with ICE, the cops, and the federal government believe that the only correct form of protest is no protest at all.
Correct. Via the Quinn law, lithium contains its own oxidizer. That's why it can't. Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, there's literally a ship in the middle of the ocean right now that's still on fire. Brandy Nuance, welcome. The only thing, their own oxidizer or thermobarics, without an internal. Yeah, so basically, like, from my understanding, is that you kind of have to let them. You kind of have to let them burn, before you can try to, like, go in there. They have to receive special training to put these fires out. Yep. The only real difference between a fire and AXP is you pause the progression with AXP and it happens all at once.
And she's exactly right. Property damage pales in comparison to the violence being perpetrated against actual human beings, and we can never ever lose sight of that fact. So remember, violence from ICE, as well as potential warfare against Americans by the U.S. military that this administration is trying to instigate, that is the real crime here. Trump is threatening to harm or potentially kill American citizens. And at a minimum, he wants to use the
lithium reacts with oxygen, so unless you can starve it somehow, you have to let it burn. Yep. It'll burn underwater, under sand or water. Yeah, and I think someone, was it Violet, gave us that explanation. It contains its own oxidizer, so even drowning it is not going to stop it.
Military, that's...
RFK just fired vaccine and cancer experts. That's cool.
Theoretic.
Cool. That's very nice. Very cool.
They're supposed to protect us, to intimidate us. That right there is the serious crime that we cannot ignore, and I refuse to let pearl-clutching bootlickers distract us from the real outrage here, which is Donald Trump's authoritarianism, and you shouldn't let that noise distract you either.
Yep. Yep. Now, for the doctor and sheer amount of preventable disease people are begging her to fix now is insane. I can't talk about it too much as she asked me not to, but it's every disease you think. Yikes. What's an example of a preventable disease? Measles. Right? Because there's literally a vaccine for it. Yeah, there you go. Measles. Boom. Like that ship on fire at the moment has all its compartments purged of oxygen filled with nitrogen. It's been burning for like a week. Yep. Mrs. Truth is in the maritime business, and yeah. She's been well aware of that ship and has been keeping track of it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Hepatitis B, yep. Bosine. Pretty much almost any STD, because you can get medication. Is a preventable disease something that you can treat no matter what? Or is it like a disease that's being prevented by a vaccine? Because that's why it's called preventable. I don't know. All STDs would be preventable because you can prevent them by using protection, question mark? I don't know. STDs are not preventable. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so you'd be talking about something that you would prevent via immunization, like a vaccine, yada yada yada. I think it's just nomenclature. I think it's just nomenclature. Does that make sense? Like even though STDs are preventable in the sense that you can prevent yourself from getting STDs by using protection, they are not categorized as preventable diseases like, say, measles. Does that make sense? Okay, STDs are transmissible disease. That makes more sense. Transmissible is the right word. Even if you wear a condom, you can get STDs. Yep, but it's less likely. So I guess I'm just I guess it's just a matter of like nomenclature. But yes, I understand now. Transmissible versus preventable. Preventing headaches by taking Bayer daily for heart attack. But that's not a preventable disease, right? Sandy! Anyways, get your vaccines. Think of the word eradicate when you think of preventable. That chip probably not going to be usable again because of all the pines going to warm. The spines. Yeah, I think that ship is done.
I enjoy the wording of the way this was reported, that Greta Thunberg was deported from Israel. She wasn't going to Israel.
She was kidnapped.
She was kidnapped, brought to Israel, and then deported from Israel. And she was put on a plane.
Which, by the way, so Greta doesn't fly out of objections due to climate change and fossil fuels. It's why she
Thank you, Sandy.
Sailed across the Atlantic to come to the U.S. at one point, and it's why the flotilla was a sailboat that took off from southern Italy to go to Gaza. This is a way to humiliate her, I'm sure.
I got this from a Zionist, innovation minister who's hope you enjoy the service.
This is what they got out of it. They got some photo of her on a plane. With her autism diagnosis, I have to say that she's putting herself in a lot of really stressful, to put it mildly, situations. Her bravery can't be overstated. But they at least, she's safe at the very least, because they bombed the original.
Did you say Massachusetts in the maritime industry? Yep.
Flotilla that was supposed to go and take her around a month and a half ago.
Let's check and see what the anti-war president, Donald Trump, has to say about this woman who...
Hey, I'm chilling for a little bit, then I'm going back out to finish my property maintenance for maintenance day, and I'm so sore. Oof, get some rest. There's still women on boat that Israel hasn't released. Really? Yikes. The Greta stuff was insane from the U.S. as well. They legit said it would be tragic if her boat got hit. Yeah, I know. Who was it? Who was the clown that said that? Was it the vice president? Was it the vice president?
Who?
I actually can't remember which one of these ghouls said that. I'm 90% sure it was the vice president that said that.
Was on a boat with food, medical supplies.
I don't distinctly recall. It sounds right though.
Prosthetic
limbs for children, and other.
Oh, it was Lindsey Graham. Okay, my apologies. Wrong ghoul. I got the wrong ghoul. Okay, it was Lindsey Graham. Gotcha, Senator Lindsey Graham. I apologize. I got the wrong ghoul.
Humanitarian supplies. Period. I mean, that's it. Food, and let's listen to what the anti-war President Donald Trump has to say about this.
That's okay. I'll look the same to me too.
Message for Greta Thunberg, and did she come up on your call with the Prime Minister today?
Well, she's.
That's funny. That's funny. Take the phone with you. I had my headphones, not my computer, because I'm classy. There you go.
She's a strange person. She's a young, angry person. I don't know if it's real anger. It's hard to believe, actually, but I saw what happened. She's certainly different.
Do you think
anger management. I think she has to go to an anger management class. That's my primary recommendation for her.
Kidnapped by Israel, as she says? Was she kidnapped?
I think Israel has enough problems without kidnapping Greta Thunberg.
And secondly, are you going to
Is that what she said? She was kidnapped by Israel?
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, yeah, kind of. Like, that's kind of what happened, but okay. The Hogs will eat this up. Yep.
I mean, how did she get to Israel? They were taking a boat to Gaza.
They were in international waters.
Fearless.
They were marked as a UK ship. Israel has no jurisdiction, but they did it anyway because right now we're in the era of the rule of the jungle. And Israel has all of our weapons. And, like, Trump seemed kind of I can tell he's... But the report...
Yeah, like, wait a minute. She wasn't going to Israel. We love Greta since she popped up on the scene. Yep. Schmagley, welcome. Greta's planning her next trip. Israel has had a blockade since 2011, which is still disgusting.
Reporting is that he's fed up with Netanyahu, but we've heard this before with Biden. Right. Like, I don't take that more than just like, okay, that's interesting. And he seems exacerbated with Israel there, but he's too stupid and he's too racist against Palestinians to like actually do anything to bring Israel to heel. He's never gonna, I don't think, halt weapons to Israel. So then what is all of this for?
I don't even think he was actually taken. I first saw that in isolation. It sounded like he was being condescending to Israel. I think he was awkwardly actually being condescending about Greta.
I tend to agree with Matt on this one. Maybe that's what I'll do on my live stream, show a bunch of my stupid instruments. Oh, they're not stupid. That's awesome.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Houthis stopped some ships carrying weapons to a genocide as terrorism, but Israel stopping effing pediatric prosthetics by being pirates is just a-okay. Yep.
We heard one relatively bat-crap person comment on the Greta Thunberg trip. Let's listen to one who is even more bat-crap crazy. What is the status of Russell Brand's legal proceedings regarding the claims of, I think it's multiple women that he sexually assaulted them?
I've been wondering about that. I think he's back in the UK. I'm not sure if he's facing charges or what's going on.
No, they brought charges against him.
I know they did. I'm not sure if that's why he's back there.
I saw he was baptized. Is that?
Well, no. I wanted to see.
Sentence served.
I actually wanted to see if we could have a graph that had days until he was indicted on the one axis, and then amount of religiousness on the other axis to see where they would intersect.
So Russell Brand, host of Stay Free on Rumble,
Stay Free
is the
where that
interesting name there.
Wish fulfillment.
He's out on conditional bail after pleading not guilty to rape and assault.
Okay, well,
5 charges.
Innocent until proven guilty. But I'm also willing to forgive him if he becomes super religious and gives himself over to the Lord our Savior. And
I think we need a little political break from stuff. Sometimes music is great for that. Yep. Time for more whiskey. Oh man, this segment, anything with Russell Brand probably warrants that, honestly.
And repents. I mean,
stay free.
Not really, but
I mean, at least on
that's
camera.
a theory.
That's what he's betting on.
You should have to put a shirt on at the very least.
Yeah, well, that's something.
Interesting wearing sunglasses again. But yeah, here he is talking about Greta.
You cynical, filthy Europeans. Israel seizes Gaza-bound activist boat and detains Greta Thunberg. And here is Greta Thunberg being captured while delivering food to Gaza. Let's have a look.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am from Sweden.
Well, firstly, we've all been saying it wrong. I mean, I know Greta Thunberg. That's an unsayable sound. I didn't know that. My name is Greta Thunberg.
Wow. Comedy's back. Comedy's legal again. Look at that. Look at that. This man definitely doesn't news rapist, does he? Where is that? I see none? Oh, it's like, it's like legal again, Herbert, welcome. I just watched her say it. It's not unsayable. Yeah, it's literally Greta Thunberg. It's almost sounds like Thunberg, right? Did I get that right?
He's talking about Greta.
You cynical, filthy Europeans. Israel seizes Gaza-bound activist boat and detains Greta Thunberg. And here is Greta Thunberg being captured while delivering food to Gaza. Let's have a look.
My name is Greta Thunberg and I am...
Greta Thunberg. It almost sounds like she's saying Thunberg. Donald Duck. What's the difference between a banjo and an accordion? A banjo burns longer. He is gross. It's basically pronounced Toonberry. Someone pulled it up for me the other day. Okay. Now that's what... I mean, like, look. You can hear it. You can hear it.
I'm from Sweden.
Well, firstly, we've all been saying it wrong. I mean, I know... That's an unsayable sound. I didn't know that. My name is...
I am from Sweden. If you see this video, we have been...
seem terribly Christian to mock people that way.
Jesus loves speaking in tongues, Sam.
It's funny. He seems to have like come back around after the
old Russ looks a little bit back right now.
Yeah, he's a little bit back after the indictment. Back out on probation.
Wearing sunglasses indoors.
I'm back out on probation. Lord has not protected me in the way that I thought he did, so maybe I have to go back to my other means of generating revenue.
Let's find an apolitical way of attacking this young woman.
I'm from Sweden.
Lance of the Young Serf of the Lance of the Serfs, I think, was one that pointed out to me. He is gross.
If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters.
Right, let's go and get her now. She's been intercepted. We've got to go and get Greta Thunberg. Get her. Rescue Greta. Cancel that shot, you lunatic.
That's a guy named Jeff.
We've got to rescue her now, both. Quick. I like that. I like the sort of casual grandiosity of that.
She's shocked, too.
Like, this is actually this is actually exhausting to hear and to watch, honestly.
She's just like, I can't believe we're captured. She didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Can you?
She wasn't going to Israel.
She was kidnapped.
She was kidnapped.
Oh my God. Hold on.
Greta Thunberg, I admire.
I've taken off my.
Wait, did I go too
Get
far?
her now. She's been intercepted. We've got to go and get Greta Thunberg.
Russell's crew looks and sounds exactly like I thought they would.
Get out.
Yeah, imagine Russell Brand talking about grandiosity. True projection. Yep. He's definitely on something.
How's that shot, you lunatic?
That's a guy named Jeff.
We've got to rescue her now, quick! I like that. I like the sort of casual grandiosity of that.
She's shocked too. She's just like, I can't believe we're captured. She didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Can you?
It's crazy.
Can you? Are they dumb? She pre-recorded that.
Yeah, like literally, like that was in the event that they were stopped and kidnapped by the Israeli forces. Because she knew that that might be a very real possibility. That's why that video was recorded beforehand.
Video, obviously, and submitted it, and I think Prem Talker was the reporter who she sent it to.
Because they thought it might happen, yeah.
To release
Right.
it when it happens. That's what happens.
Also got hair implants. Isn't that gender affirming care?
It's
Yeah,
all
but
the
don't tell
time.
him
Also,
that.
just to
In
say,
war,
like, they got arrested at international waters.
I'm sorry. You know, what they're saying is absolutely ridiculous, but I'm trying to imagine that guy in the hat and everybody else on the set when Russell Brand shows up wearing a kimono and saying, are we ready to shoot?
Here.
Are we ready to shoot? I've taken off my clothes now. Are we ready to shoot?
Can you see the cross?
Sun's out, guns out.
Is the cross visible, mate? Hey, mate.
Can you see my abs? How's my six-pack going?
Wait.
I'm ready to talk about the news now.
No.
Let me get my nipples erect, and then we'll talk about the news.
There you go, MR out of context.
Thank you.
Look, on one level, I really like Greta Thunberg.
Oh my God! Now I remember why. I'm talking about Samuel. I'm talking about our Zaddy Zaddy Samuel. Suns out, guns out is a thing that he did. I think it was a challenge. I forget what it was. The Suns out, guns out challenge. And Sam ended up walking out with a tank top.
I admire people that will pursue their ideology. Do you think that we should find compassion in our hearts for people we disagree with? For example, I do believe that climate change is being exploited to legitimize new measures of control.
That's actually wild to say that. That's just straight up climate change denial. Incidentally, this is also a talking point that's being pushed by the right wing. Like, we can't do anything about climate change because the way that people, the solutions that were being proposed are too, they're too, they're not anything to do with the climate. They just want more control, and then it spews out into this wild conspiracy theory land. Yeah, this is like a classic right wing talking point. To say that climate change is being exploited to legitimize new measures of control is just wild. I can't even type Zaddy Sam as a joke. He was pro climate change before the allegations. Yeah, I mean, like, he's just gone. Like, he's just gone. Like, Russell Brand, like, he has just come out of his grifting chrysalis, and like this is just him, right? Honestly, the only glasses I would wear are these blue light glasses. He forgot he's a Christian now. Not the meth or whatever is back. Yeah, I mean, like, seriously. It's clear that Russell Brand never cared about any of those positions because, like, they're all gone now. All the positions he claimed to care about no longer exist for him. So, I mean, it just means that he never cared about them in the first place. Like, can you imagine, like, I mean, I've been doing this, I've been doing this for quite a minute. I've been doing this for quite a minute. And, like, can you imagine if, like, the next year I just start talking about, like, conspiracy theories about climate change? I mean, like, that would be wild, right? Like, it means that I never believed in those positions at all. So, yeah, because, like, this is weird, right? Like, I've been talking about the same thing since the beginning. Sure, my methods have changed. Sure, the way I make arguments now have changed. But the actual, like, principles of what I believe in are the same, right? Like, I have not changed those core principles. You know, again, like, maybe my methods have changed, maybe my rhetoric has changed, maybe the way I make arguments have changed. Even I may be making more radical arguments than I did even a couple years ago. You can look at my YouTube channel. But anyways, it just means that, like, it just means that Russell Brand never believed in those principles to begin with. That's what I'm saying. I would have to punch you. Yeah, I would have to, like, wake up a different person. Like, Sandy would have to virtually come through and mess with my neurons, okay? And then I wake up the next day and I'm, like, talking about conspiracy theories. For 2 years, 9 months, and 20 days, you haven't changed. Yeah, I mean, like, the same, you know, I mean, you look back from, well, maybe 2 years, you know, it's more or less, like, I've been zeroing in on this for a while, but, like, you look at my, like, slightly post-Obama days, I don't even know if those videos are even still up, I was a lot more milquetoast in my rhetoric, and a lot more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as far as, like, how I approach politics. But, you know, since I think the first Trump administration is kind of like the shift as far as, like, how I've managed to come around, like, politically. Like, it's just been more and more and more and more radical thanks to the rise in fascism. But the point being is the principles that I believe in have not changed. Actually, the core principles that I believe in have not changed. ADT's full black pill now? No, not full black pill. Only slightly. Anyways. Guess we'll put on some glasses. These are light, blue light filter. Yeah, more like a gray pill. These are blue light filtering glasses that I use for gaming. Holy crap, these are awesome.
And that Greta Thunberg is promoted by...
Control of things like Exxon, for instance.
Right.
We're losing day by day our ability to drill wherever we want.
He has
new forms of control.
Russell has lost his ability, or at least to drill wherever he wants without consent. That's true.
Whoa.
Oh my God!
I was a little hesitant to do the rape joke, but I went for it.
That's another one for Majority Report out of context. That's another one for that account. You can send that to me. Beat me to it. I'm pretty blackpilled, but I'm also very stubborn. I think I'm right, so I'll survive just to tell whoever else is about it. I told you so.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
By the culture, because she somehow perfectly represents a sort of pagan idea of Cassandra.
A pagan idea of Cassandra. What are you talking about?
Hysterical
Yeah, these are the drugs talking.
Figure on the edge of the culture. How dare you? How dare you? She does a brilliant job. All of us at different points have been deployed by the culture. I myself was used for a while as a sort of hedonistic playboy individual promoting.
Sorry, I just have to jump in here.
I was.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hold on. Pause. Is he seriously saying that the reason why he was the way he is? Because he hasn't changed. But okay, the reason why is because he's been... Oh, it's not his fault, okay? It's not his fault. No, I can't take responsibility for my actions, you know? I've gotta put it on, you know, whatever. She's a Cassandra, in it, mate. I take no acting advice from Russell friggin' Brand. Yeah, I don't deserve consequences. It's someone else's fault. Like it's literally just like, I don't know, the whatever powers that be. It's not me, you know. Couldn't be me. Blue blockers, a blast from the ancient past. This is not that old. Wait, is that technology old? I don't know. It helps me sleep. Feels used. I was used! A pagan Cassandra, in it.
I was used, wouldn't it? It might be.
It's a good thing I'm not being used no more, mate.
Right.
He is on a platform that is owned by Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, as he speaks right now, Rumble, aka Cantor Fitzgerald Acquisition Corporation number 6. That is Rumble. It's owned by Trump's... Like, maybe you're still being used, mate. Maybe there's some agendas being served right now, haven't you, mate?
But I do like him, oh, I was used in the past.
Yeah, whatever helps him sleep at night.
Not being used as a sex symbol anymore. I just like it's a little bit warm in this studio.
The paganism.
I'm sorry. My kimono, it chafes my nipples, so I've got to keep my shirt open.
Sandra, a hysterical figure on the edge of the culture. How dare you? How dare you? She does a...
I think I should have watched this segment before. What an absolute clown. There's zero difference between Brad now and his character from Forgetting Sarah Marshall, literally.
Brilliant job. All of us at different points have been deployed by the culture. I myself was used for a while as sort of
deployed by
hedonistic...
the culture, that's the issue. Yeah.
Playboy individual promoting decadence and promiscuity, which worked out very well for me, I have to say. So Greta Thunberg, she's... I have to respect the fact that she's so committed.
So much respect.
I forgot Sarah Marshall.
He was used by the culture, and that's part of the problem.
He was used by big promiscuity.
Right.
To promote
Big Parma. Okay, Big Parma. deployed by the culture. I feel like that may have some weird. I feel like that, you know, my radar goes off. My radar goes off when you speak like that. I feel when he speaks like that, I feel like there's maybe some kind of weird undertones underneath that. But yeah, we're all dumber now after watching this. This is not a complaint, just an observation. It was just a culture, you know, the culture, which is really weird, man. It's just really weird to say, you know. It feels like there's some maybe undertones underneath that, but yeah. By the way, it's not the first time he's made comments that make you go, more than sleeping around, the man's a criminal. Yep.
The Hollywood cabal made him into an alleged rapist.
Yeah, she's Emma's picking up the same thing. Gotta bounce. Thank you for hanging out, Brandy Nuance. Appreciate it. Have you seen my other sand? Looks like this one, but it's my evil twin brother.
The devil made him promiscuous.
Yeah, the culture made him ask a man or brag about having sex.
Katy Perry broke this man. I don't know. I kind of think like that's just him. I kind of think that's just him. I suspect they're replacing the DS with the culture now. They're obviously the deep state.
So the man's daughter on the phone to him on the BBC radio. That's what the culture was making him do.
The devil is everywhere.
I have to respect the fact that she is so committed to virtue and what she believes to be true, even if I feel like she's being moved about on the chessboard by powers that have a deeper and more articulate understanding of the reality of
What powers are you talking about here, Russell? Because the more he talks, the more I'm thinking he's just talking about, like, he's just like doing like Nazi dog whistles. Does that make sense? Like, talking about like the culture, right? Which, incidentally, which is implying, as Emma picked up on this real quick, about the Hollywood elite cabal culture. I mean, like, this is all kind of circling that route, if you ask me. Also, the dumbest people make chess metaphors. Yeah, why is it always people who have like zero knowledge of how to play chess make chess metaphors? That's a good observation. Autumn Leaves was silent and non-existent in chat during the same UK rant. I was so disappointed. It's a deflection behavior I recognize from dealing with my little bro and his ice addict. The drug culture made me do it. That's what they've said about Greta since the beginning, and I don't buy it. So is drugs going to be the savior here, taking out these idiots, saving the country? Well, who knows? Drugs winning the drug war?
Upon which she comments, but maybe that's true of all of us, continually true of all of us. And certainly there needs to be some kind of resolution to the...
As someone who's done a lot of drugs, no. I mean, like, I totally believe Russell Brand just being Russell Brand. This is just him. Rejecting modern degeneracy and returning to traditional values is 100% fascist and coded rhetoric. Yep, and that's kind of... He's definitely on that trip.
Ongoing blockades and suffering of the people of Gaza that needn't immediately open one up to accusations of anti-Semitism simply to discuss it. That's why we have Isaac here, to ensure that when I'm saying that...
There's a Jewish guy, so he decides to do a little bit of...
I love the fact that he both wants is like, she's actually doing something to open up the blockade. Right. Like, even at the very, very least, it gives this guy an opportunity to say we should open up the blockade, which is exactly what she's doing. Right. Like, you know, like, I don't think that they thought they were actually going to be able to land. Maybe there was a small chance, and there was a small chance. But obviously, this is to draw attention to the blockade. And yet, he thinks that she's being manipulated in actually doing something to do the thing that he says should be done.
But what was his biblical reference to her? Is he gesturing towards, you know, there's that conspiracy.
Yeah, Cassandra, is that, I mean, I've talked about it, right? The left consistently suffers from Cassandra syndrome, meaning we're always calling out like what's happening, but nobody listens to us. I feel like missing Sam's UK rent would be Autumn's greatest regret. Dudes want to try trad wife who still works 40 plus a week and still make his well done steak because they have no taste. Yep. Melanin deficiency syndrome. It's real, mammals. Yep.
Theory. Peter Thiel has said this before, that she could be the Antichrist.
He called it a pagan.
Yeah.
Pagan. So this is interesting to me, right? Do we know what Thiel's involvement is in Rumble?
I'm sure there's some crossover.
Oh my God!
I'm just pointing out that
certainly the PayPal mafia has invested in it. To some extent.
I'm just pointing out that it's interesting that he's all about freedom and trying to
welcome
articulate these thoughts in a way that isn't controlled by big Hollywood or big money. But Cantor Fitzgerald, heavy investor in Rumble. Peter Thiel, likely investor in Rumble, at least involved.
Am I right in thinking every animal is melanated apart from some humans and albinos? I think that's right. Genuinely, that's a fantastic question. I don't want to say. I want to say I just don't know.
And they have been railing against Greta Thunberg for I don't know how long, because she shines a light on the exploitation of the environment and on capitalism and on genocide.
Forbes headline: Rumble, the JD Vance-backed YouTube clone, is finally relevant. That was from December 2024. This is
finally relevant. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pull up the numbers on Rumble and how much of those numbers are real. Rumble is a complete shit show. Rumble is where like careers go to die. Like, you know that you're not doing great when you end up in Rumble. Rumble is where you go when you aren't even friendly enough for Kick, and that's saying something. Because Kick isn't Kick Aiden Ross's thing?
Just from a little bit earlier, the first time they bring up this Greta Thunberg thing, and he mentions one of our faves.
Where that comes from. How would we be in this controversial time if we did not welcome the opinion of the Jew?
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, this dude's like, this dude's not even like Nazi coding. Like, he's just straight up. Holy crap. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, man. As someone who can write a view bot in 5 minutes, ask me how I know fakeable these. Oh, 100%. Like, it's been pretty documented. I think, in fact, didn't Mike Figueroa made a well, there's been several people that have made videos showing just how fake like the views on Rumble are. Humans have a dangerous habit of overestimating their intelligence. True. There are a few lefties on Kick still. I couldn't do it. Like, I would have to be like, I would have to actually have like, I would have to have like a army of moderators on there. I'm good. Rumble has advantages over YouTube for posting videos, less censorship and copyright striking. Yeah, but like, yeah. But Rumble though. It can't be Aiden's thing. I believe it if you used it or got bad for using it, but not run it. I don't know if he runs it. I don't know if Aiden Ross runs it, but didn't he found it or put money into it? I forget. Truth hurts, but lies are killing us. Yep, I'm definitely the climate Cassandra for the last 8 years. Yeah, talking, singing the same song and nobody listens, you know. They platform people just because they are socially odious and that will get them clicks. Yep. YouTube and these major tech firms don't even see Rumble as a threat. If they did, it would be shut down tomorrow. There's a reason why Rumble exists. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Yeah. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying I believe you.
They have a present! They're from the Old Testament, you're right, mate.
The ever-present. Jesus Christ, man. Holy. Oh, boy. This dude's just like a straight up like Nazi. Come on, man.
Yeah, doing well.
Can I get that APAC money, please? Because you know,
run out because they had to take Greta Thunberg away.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg, she's out there. Did you see? I want to see that post where, like, of course, someone predictably says, "Look at this Babylon." We try not to ever use Babylon B. Our producer says because they're so good, you could use them all the time. But Israel seizes Gaza-bound activist boat and detains Greta Thunberg. Here's how the Babylon B.
Rumble doesn't care if you use unauthorized music tracks in your videos, which poachers like myself tend to do. YouTube generates a whole list and tells you where your video won't play. Yep. I mean, like, again, I wouldn't be like, I don't care about that kind of stuff. Like, I think that YouTube should be a little bit more free in that sense, but, you know, YouTube and Google are owned by BlackRock and Vanguard. Everything is evil. Yep, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. I never stare at someone when I make a joke. Imagine being Russell and thinking you're ever going to heaven. Imagine, yeah. Yeah. I was on Rumble for a while sharing my streams on climate, and they're thinking that maybe I could teach some people something, but too many scary people over there, and I did not want to dox myself. That's understandable, given the clientele that tend to hang out in Rumble. It says something on Rumble it's freer than YouTube. Well, yeah, it says that YouTube is garbage, and I completely understand that argument. I completely understand that argument. They just don't want to be the arbiter. They just don't want the arbiter to panic. We really did have to keep parts per million below 400, and the permafrost starts melting at 400. By 520, we'll have released 440 of its own warming potential, or at least half in the melt zone, and be in process of doing it. Now we have hit 440. Unless we reduce emissions, not just hold them stable, it will keep going. Yep. And it's not looking like we're gonna hit that mark anytime at all. It's 430. Really, we've hit 1.5 heating, global heating, and we're in major trouble. Somebody thought I should go to Kick. I've never heard of it. Forget it. I want my YouTube channel back. Yep. Yeah, I mean, like, Kick is just a Twitch clone. I mean, honestly, we Sandy, we can forget about that 1.5. That's not happening. I mean, like, if you hear climate scientists, they don't even talk about 1.5 anymore. Like, they're talking like 2. They're talking 2. And if once that snowball starts, there's no stopping it. I don't think people realize that once that threshold is passed, You can't stop it. There's nothing that we could do. There's nothing that we can do to stop it once that snowball starts rolling. Unless Rumble is getting money from a certain other government, that site will cease to exist in a matter of years, if not a year. 2 is the best case scenario. Yep.
Does that Hamas agrees to surrender if Europe will take Greta Thunberg back?
Not even a good clone. The green is it is kind of an eyesore.
Why don't we go? I want to go to Israel. Where's those people? Didn't Dave Rubin said he was going to take us to Israel?
You want to go to Israel?
Said he was going to take us to Israel.
Can you pause it?
Brief stint.
He would be right at home there. He would be right at home. He's gonna be a sex pest that hides from the authorities in his home country. There's a good amount of those in Israel, a high quotient, I would say. All right.
Well, we gave you a little bit of fun half in the free part of the show, ladies and gentlemen.
More like I need to take a shower half.
Exactly.
The faster it rises, the faster it'll rise. Those projects once hit 5, we're on our way to Venus. No stopping it. It's a runaway effect. Yeah, there you go. Runaway effect. The problem with carbon capture is that A, it's not a fleshed out technology. B, it's expensive. C, it doesn't do us any good if we're still emitting. And like, if you've seen any carbon capture projects, it's not working. What we need to do is stop emissions, but that's not happening. We are dismantling the ecological foundations of our existence, from coral reefs to rainforests, with a recklessness that ensures not just the loss of biodiversity, but the collapse of the systems that sustain life. Yep. The best carbon capture we have is trees. Yep. It's also hard to get real change when half the population doesn't believe in verifiable facts. True.
How do you order a sound drop up in here? I'm gonna have to consult later about that.
We'll talk about it after. But the quote, I think, from Peter Thiel was, "Doesn't the Antichrist come to power by acting as the Kachaton, as Greta says she's doing?" I'm not sure what the Kachon
It's probably some
is.
Lord of the Rings shit.
Okay. Either way. Oh, it's a force that withholds or restrains the Antichrist's full manifestation. Doesn't make it any less insane to hear that.
Hey.
Fantastic. The scourge of the earth. Yeah, plastic. Yep. The planet drifts to random insect doom. The junk universe is a place of no return, a black hole of addiction and control where the human form is shredded into a million fragments, each one crawling towards its own annihilation. I thought Ted Cruz was the scourge of the earth. I mean, yeah. Scum of the earth, come on. Alright, folks, we're just gonna run through because I gotta get out of here. Anyways, it's time to hit the bar with a couple colleagues. Thank you for the stream anyways, but trust but verify, protest anyways, and shut SDFU. Later, everyone. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're experiencing in our lifetimes a heating episode that is probably unique in the last 4.6 billion years. Yep. Let's speedrun this because I gotta get out of here. Texas governor to deploy National Guard across the state in response to protests. So yeah, you can expect, if you're in Texas, you can expect more. You can expect National Guard across locations ahead of these planned protests from NoKings.org. This is what this is in response to. So be on the lookout for that. Be aware of that, folks. When you guys sign off, come over back to this space as Dieter is live. Heck yeah. I guess this is why I'm a doomer. I feel that. As long as humanity is motivated by profit, we're on a path of no return from an Earth so devastated and unrecognizable, violent, and survival that the average person struggles to even imagine. Yep. I think we'll leave with this. Trump says his administration wants to wean states off FEMA after hurricane season because, reasons. President Trump said Tuesday that his administration wants to wean states off assistance from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA, and after this year's hurricane season. The president's remark came after he received a briefing from top administration officials about wildfire and emergency management. He claimed that FEMA has not been successful. I wonder why. And governors are better positioned to respond to natural disasters like hurricanes, wildfires, and tornadoes. So good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. Yeah, bootstrap dipshittery. Yep. We want to wean off FEMA, and we want to bring it down to state level, like a little bit like education. We're moving it back to the states. Cool. The president said his plan is for governors to work with one another and give each other a hand. Not the federal government, though. It has not worked out well. He said FEMA, which was created in 1979, it's extremely expensive. And again, when you have a tornado or hurricane, you have a problem of any kind in the state, that's what you have governors for. Wait a minute. How much is FEMA's actual budget? How much is that FEMA's budget in comparison? And also, isn't FEMA very underfunded? You're underfunding the National Weather Service, you're underfunding NOAA, you're underfunding FEMA. All of these agencies are kind of important when it comes, to having information and being able to respond. Cost money to fix damage by these worsening storms. Hopefully these aren't conditions actively making storm seasons worse. Yep. Absolute insanity. So what are we paying federal taxes for? I don't know. His golf trips? They're supposed to fix those problems, and it's much more local and develop a system, and it'll be a great system. So good luck, everybody, Mr. Trump has floated eliminating FEMA altogether, turning it into a support agency that provides supplemental federal assistance to the states. The president took executive action in January to establish a FEMA Review Council to examine the agency's disaster capabilities and assess the adequacy of its disaster response during former President Biden's administration. FEMA has been roiled by Trump's initiative aimed at slashing the size of the federal government. More than 200 probationary workers were fired from the agency earlier this year, and the administration overhauled contract renewals for more than 2/3 of the FEMA workforce. The changes come just before the start of hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th. The National Weather Service predicted this year, and we'll see above normal Atlantic hurricane season with between 3 to 5 major storms, which are at least Category 3. FEMA itself said the internal agency presentation obtained by CBS News last month that its readiness process for hurricane season has been derailed this year due to other activities like staffing and contractors. The presentation also said that the agency transforms to a smaller footprint. The intent for this hurricane season is not well understood, and thus FEMA is not ready. So, cool. I hope everyone is prepared because the government's not going to help you. Not this federal government. An official at the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees FEMA, said the agency is fully activated in preparation for hurricane season. But earlier this month, acting FEMA director David Richardson said during a daily briefing that he had not been aware that the U.S. had a hurricane season. We covered this. 30 sources familiar with the meeting told CBS News. Richards' remark left FEMA employees confused. It was not clear whether he made a joke or not. Yeah. So, good luck, everybody. You know? Hurricanes, how do they work? I don't know. They don't exist, apparently. Why would you need an agency that would help with federal assistance for disasters? Why would anybody need that? I don't know. Sounds woke. All right, folks, I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. I appreciate it. Folks, if you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit that follow button if you're on Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. We're just above 370 subscribers. Doomers Unite. What actually happened to Sandy's channel? It got nuked because of YouTube. It got nuked because of YouTube. Marinating eggs, nice. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. And please, if you can, show some support for Sandy. And if you're on the Twitter, keep adding YouTube support. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. Check out This Space TV. They are still going strong. And check out This Space tomorrow. Another banger lineup is happening tomorrow, so please go check that out. And of course, This Space will be back next week. I will be on that Tuesday, 7 p.m. So check that out. This Space TV. If you need the link, I got you, folks. Let me pull up that link.
I'm sure the chat will.
Right now, Dieter is doing his show, so I'm going to post the link. In fact, I'm just going to post the link to the actual YouTube channel. Yeah, This Space, no other space, just this one. It needs to be 24/7. Oh, that is the goal. That is the goal. That is the dream. Appreciate that, Sandy. Rational National tomorrow, or is that today? Good question. Good question. I know there was like small changes to the lineup, but if not today, then tomorrow. I know Leftist Mafia is happening too. So whether it be today or tomorrow, there's definitely going to be a you can get your Rational National fix on This Space as well. This Space, not a disgrace. We're going in grace. I'm trying to do okay, but tonight's really going to be hard because I can't be on left past 10. YouTube has horrible rules. They really, really burn me. Yep, I know Twitch has the same nonsense rules. Same BS rules that YouTube has. Rerun of Leftist Mafia today, live tomorrow. Gotcha. Okay, there you go. Boom. But on a mask, they'll never recognize you. All right, I got to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the support, and I appreciate you guys supporting This Space. It's really, really important. So I appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow around 5 p.m. Eastern, as always, folks. Oh, and thank you to the mods. Thank you Heat. Thank you, Michael Hassler, for modding the chat. I appreciate it. Again, we'll be back tomorrow. I appreciate it. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next one tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See ya. Cadbury eggs. True, Bozy. Hang tight, folks. For the folks on YouTube, we'll be heading back to this space. Folks on Twitch, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.